Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday. Happy the first Thursday of December. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I know we had a great one, ate way too much food. It was delicious. And we finally got some of that snow, and it is sticking around here today. So we have only about 3 weeks till Christmas. I would love to know and drop it in the comments. Let me know. Are you feeling prepared and ready and like you've got a handle on everything? Or are you feeling a little stressed, overwhelmed, like you're drowning? Or are you a little bit of both? I'm probably more on the side of everything's good. I've got a good handle on things. But I know as we get closer, some of that anxiousness, some of that stress, some of that overwhelm tends to kick in. So, knowing that, let me know in the comments. Let me know how you are currently feeling and kind of check in with yourself every week. Is it getting worse? Is it getting better? Are you kind of staying exactly where you are? So everything you're going to hear me talk about today is stuff that you've not like is stuff you have heard me talk about before. We are going to talk about how that stress, those endless to-do lists, overwhelm, the family events, the activities, the food, the cocktails, the treats, all of those things get sometimes overwhelming and can feel kind of like we are being we're kind of in a stuck elevator, feeling a little claustrophobic with everything that is happening and the walls are tightening in. Today, we're going to address three areas: fitness, nutrition, and mindset. Those are the three areas that really just about everything in this group is focused around. Hey, Sheila, I see you there. You're feeling good on Christmas stuff. I love that. It's always a good feeling when you are feeling good about something. But just know, like I said, as we get closer, that good feeling may start to go a little bit higher towards stress. So remember some of the things we talk about today. Like I said, we're going to talk about fitness, mindset, nutrition. We're going to start by talking about some of the struggles that I see in fitness, nutrition, and mindset. And then we're going to kind of give you some tips as we go through, and then we'll kind of wrap up. So you're going to hear some of this stuff. It may feel like, Morgan, I've heard this already. Sometimes it's not when I tell you the first time, the second time, the fourth time. Sometimes it's the 100th time you've heard it from me, whether it's a podcast, a training, just you and I on a one on one. Eventually, something clicks and something sticks. So, some of the most common struggles that I see this time of the year, or I hear people say, is honestly finding time for my workouts is impossible between the weather. It's like 23, it feels like 23 degrees out. It's so cold. I'm not going outside. Travel. I have a lot of clients who are traveling. They've been traveling the last 2 weeks, and it's hard to keep a routine. And honestly, when you're out of routine, I just feel so unmotivated. My workouts are just getting completely pushed to the wayside. Holidays full of stress, whether it's the family dynamics, the gift shopping, or the pressure to do it all. Our mindset takes a huge hit. We end up feeling overwhelmed, burnt out, that what we are doing is not enough. That we get caught in the social media of, oh, they're doing this and we're doing that. And I feel like a lot of you moms in here, I don't know how many of you do the elf on the shelf, but staying up to date on the coolest and all those things. Like sometimes it's just getting it done and not having to compare ourselves to other people. But it kind of messes with our mindset. And depending on how much you follow and how present you are to it, you may not realize how much it's actually affecting you this time of the year. Then that third area is that food, the endless parties, the treats, the cocktails, all the things that are making us kind of feel like we're constantly off track. But when we slow down and we look at it, we may not be that far off track. But because they feel so constant, we feel like that's all we are having, which then can make us feel guilty, feel gross, sluggish, can make us feel like we shouldn't eat or we need to make it up by doing cardio, whatever that is. None of those should be the way that we see food, especially during this time of the year, because so many of the things we eat are sentimental. They're family, they're being around other people, they're things that we don't have all the time, like stuffing, green bean casserole, pumpkin pie, anything else. And those are the Thanksgiving foods because those were just on my mind from this past week. So we're going to deep dive into each of these. I'm going to give you a few tips for fitness, nutrition, and mindset so that when you walk away from here, you have some strategies. And when you start to feel I'm overwhelmed, I'm struggling, I can't get it done, or I'm doing all the things, when any of those thoughts start to come in, you can remember these tips. You can pull it back. So, tip number one when it comes to fitness, focus on short, effective workouts. This time of the year, time is limited. Things are happening all the time, and it seems busier than what it may normally be. Instead of getting caught in that all or nothing mindset of, oh, I can't go do my 30-minute workout, I want you to reevaluate your time, create a schedule, and manage your expectations. Knowing that we're in December, 30-minute workouts may not be what's happening. You know that. Okay, so you've managed your expectations. You're reevaluating your time. You can't do 30. Can you do 10 minutes? I can do 10 minutes. Awesome. Let's do 10 minutes every single day. Or you may notice in your schedule, you can't do it every single day, but you can do it 3 days a week. Great. You're going to do 3 days a week at 30 minutes or 3 days a week at 10 minutes. Whatever it is, you are taking a step back and you're reevaluating. We get caught in feeling like we need to be doing the same thing all year round. That's a perfect world. That is a perfect world if we can do that, but that's not the case. So you need to reevaluate your time, schedule, and manage your expectations. Remember, our workouts do not need to be long. We just need to be moving. 10 to 15 minutes. You can do a HIIT workout. You can do an AMRAP. You can do an EMON. You can do just body weight exercises. You can do squats, lunges, and push-ups. Like, set a timer and figure out, are we moving our whole body? Maybe your body is under so much stress and you really just need to pull it back and regulate yourself and slow it down and stretch. So whatever that is, whatever that looks like, remember that doesn't have to be a long period of time. It can be 10 minutes. Reevaluate, manage your expectations, and create a schedule. Hey, Julie, see you on there? I'm not telling you to give up the Christmas cocktails. Never once did I say we're giving up the Christmas cocktails. Number 2, this is one that you've also probably heard a lot about movement is, oh, park further away. It works for a reason. Park further away in the parking lot. Take the stairs instead of the escalator. Take short walks after a meal. Pace around the house if it's really cold. Maybe take a few extra times up and down the stairs. 10 squats at the top of each hour. Little bursts of movement like this add up and will keep your energy up, especially when you've had a lot of eating and a lot of sitting out of the normal. You're sitting around with family or you're eating a lot of food. Like, the more you can just get up and do these short bursts of exercise and movement, you're going to feel so much better throughout the day. Number 3, make it fun. Sign up for a 5K race. Maybe go walk at the mall. A girlfriend and I are doing that later. It's way too cold. We don't really enjoy the treadmill as much. So we're going to go walk around the mall. We're going to walk through stores. There's not much in there. It's a perfect place to go. Maybe have a dance party with your family. Do a Christmas themed exercise class. Try a new class. If there's something that you wanted to try, I love hot yoga in the winter. Highly recommend trying that out because it even just feels good to be in that heat, especially here in Michigan when it is freezing. So make it fun. Try something new. Don't get caught in it has to look this certain way. It doesn't have to look a certain way. You just have to be moving, and that's what matters. Number 2, we're going to move on to nutrition, food, cravings, and more. So the number one thing that you can do during this time, if you do nothing else, is remember the basics. We talk about the basics a ton. Remember the basics. So we're going to talk about this in 2 ways. One, when it comes to eating, when we sit down and we make our plate, whatever day it is, do we have a protein? Do we have vegetables? And then are we putting on our favorite holiday foods and treats? Because so often we count on getting all the yummy things and we actually forget some of the basics that we know make our body feel good. So fill your plate up first with the foods that you know make your body feel good, vegetables, proteins, healthy fats, things like that. Fill it up with that and then add smaller portions of your holiday treats that give you the satisfaction of, wow, that was really good. That tasted delicious. I am satisfied. Whereas sometimes we go for all the sweet, savory things, and then we just don't feel well. It's because we didn't give our body what it needs. So remember to go back to the basics. What makes your body feel good? Make sure to incorporate those at every meal that you are able to. The second basic that we're going to, which is tip number 2, is staying hydrated. You have to stay hydrated during the holidays, especially if you're indulging in cocktails and things like that. We got to flush the body out. We also are eating everybody else's cooking. And you may have the family members who don't know what salt is, and you may have the family members who only know what salt is. Our body feels bloated, feels sluggish, it just feels blah. And it's because of all the fats and all of the sugars and all of the salts that we're just really not sure what is going into it because we're eating other people's cooking or we're eating out. So it's really important that you are staying hydrated. We want to make sure that for women, we're aiming for 60 to 90 ounces, for men, 90 to 120 ounces. If you're not in any of those ranges, Figure out what your average is. Just start by tracking your water. How much are you drinking? Okay, I'm drinking 30 ounces a day just about every day. Okay, can you do 40 ounces every day? Can we just focus on our water? The third thing that we want to do and remember is do not skip meals. So often we get caught in, oh, I've got this big turkey dinner later, or we've got this later, we've got this tomorrow. Like, I'll just skip it. And I'll no, your body's gonna binge. It's gonna backfire. Or the other thing that I see happens is, oh, I'm drinking. I'm just not gonna eat. I'll just drink my calories. That is the perfect way to have a hangover. That is the perfect way to get terrible sleep. That is the perfect way to make yourself not feel great the next day. So it's important that when we are enjoying those cocktails, that we are making sure we're eating normal meals throughout the day, that we're fueling our body with what it needs, that we're drinking water, that we're getting good sleep, that we know, okay, right, we're going to end up going to bed around midnight. Do I need to slow down those cocktails a little bit closer so that my body can metabolize them so I can actually sleep good? So when we skip meals and when we do some of these things, our sleep is affected, which then means we are hungry all the time, which means we're playing a game with our mind of, I just ate all that food yesterday. I don't need to eat today, but you do need to eat today. Have balance, even if it's smaller portions. Have your protein, have your vegetables, have some healthy fats, making sure that you're having good balanced meals all day long. They don't have to be big meals, but they have to be meals so you don't have binges. And then you don't feel like you're overeating and you're just living on sugar. Tip number 4, mindful indulgence. Let yourself have your favorite treats. One of the other most common things I see is, no, I can't have it. I'm on a diet or I'm cutting out sugar. I find people go one of two ways. They either give themselves all the freedom and they go all in, or they try to hold themselves back and then they end up eating in secret, or they end up eating more than they wanted. Whereas if you just give yourself the permission to have the food, I'm going to have that brownie. That looks really good. Oh, wow. I really love grandma's so and so. Awesome. An analogy that I use quite often is you can have cake and you can have ice cream. Have them on your plate. I learned this from another trainer back in the day. You can have a bite of cake and a bite of ice cream, and you can still tell somebody you had cake and ice cream today. You don't have to finish the whole piece of cake. We all know how everybody serves cake at family gatherings. It's always a huge piece. Even when you say a small sliver, it's always a huge piece. You can have a bite of the cake and you can have a bite of ice cream and still say, wow, I had cake and ice cream and I feel satisfied. So be mindful of your portions. Be mindful of how it tastes. Are you eating it fast? Did you even enjoy it? Did it taste good, or did you eat it because you felt guilty that you didn't want to leave it on your plate? It's okay to say no. It's okay to say yes to the leftovers just to please the person who's asking and then throw them away when you leave. It is okay. Because when we are given leftovers or we take something out of obligation and then we feel the obligation to eat it and we don't really want to and it doesn't really help our body, you're essentially using your body as the trash can when we just put the food in the trash. Fill your body with the food and the things that it wants to be filled with, that you want to fill it with. So just be mindful. That's not telling you to cut out sugar or cocktails or all the yummy things. Like, no, have it. But just be mindful of it. How much are you having? Does it even taste good? Maybe it's not even good anymore. Maybe our taste buds have changed, because that will happen. From somebody who didn't used to like vegetables. I now like vegetables. I didn't used to like mushrooms. 3 years later, I'm starting to kind of like mushrooms if there's enough butter on them. Like, our taste buds change, and the more you experience certain foods, the more likely you are to also enjoy them. So finally, let's move on to mindset here. This is our last area. We've got set realistic expectations. I kind of mentioned this when it comes to our workouts, is we want to make sure that during this time of the year, we are managing our expectations. We probably cannot take on as much social activities every night as we can when it's not holiday season. Maybe we want to make sure that the kids are not in 6 sports during this time and they're only in 3. Maybe we want to make sure that just because there's time on the calendar that it's an open block doesn't mean we have to fill it with something. It's important that we also give ourselves downtime. And if that means you have to schedule downtime into your calendar to make it happen, do it. There's a lot of pressure to just do it all, go everywhere, be everywhere, and it's a lot. So make a choice with yourself, talk to the family, figure out what it is. What expectation makes the most sense for you? What are you guys going to agree to do? What are you going to agree not to do? Have those open conversations so the expectation is clear. We're doing this and we're doing this. This is the types of gifts we are doing. This is the types of gifts we're not doing. Just because, so then everybody's crystal clear on what it is, and you're not trying to live up to an expectation that is really just something you've talked about in your head and you haven't shared with anybody. Number two, practice gratitude daily. So I have clients who do 3 daily wins or 3 daily gratitude practices. And really, all it's about is looking back on your day at the end of your day and saying, what are 3 wins for my day? What are 3 things that I did that I'm proud of myself for? Or what are 3 things that I'm grateful for? You can keep this in a notebook. You can open up the notes section of your phone. You can text this to somebody. My clients typically send them to me because it's kind of cool to see that evolution. And I like to see their wins and what they're grateful for each day. But you can also just kind of create a chart on your wall, however you would like to. But it really just brings back into perspective what we're doing and how we feel throughout the day rather than rush, 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 go, go, go. And finally, create a self care routine. You matter. Your workouts matter. Your nutrition matters. Time to yourself matters. And you're probably not getting much of that right now. I've actually just had a conversation with a few clients and they're feeling like they need to kind of stop taking care of themselves because there's just no time. Remember, time for yourself doesn't have to look like a large amount of time. It can literally mean getting up 5 minutes earlier and sitting with your cup of coffee in silence and having 5 minutes to yourself. It can mean reading at the end of the night instead of scrolling on your phone. It can mean meditation. It can mean moving your body. It can mean painting or playing a game with your husband or whatever that is. Like finding something in me time that makes you feel good, that you know brings you joy, helps your body, helps your mind, helps you feel good, helps bring those stress levels down. Because if our stress levels are high all the time, we're not going to sleep well. We're going to be hungry all the time. We're not going to eat foods. We're not going to want to move our body. We're going to be very unmotivated and all of the things. So it's important that that me time is there to help bring our stress levels down. We cannot live at a high stress level all month long. It's only December 5th. We live at high stress levels all the way until December 25th. And because usually after that, it gets a little bit slower because Christmas seems to be the hype of it all. Still, that is a long time to be high stressed. Like to feel like you want to pull your hair out, that you're go, go, go. Make sure you're adding some me time into your day every day. And maybe that's one of your wins, is that you gave yourself 5 minutes of me time. So, how to implement these? I gave you a lot of tips. I gave you at least 3 for each of these areas. It can feel overwhelming. If I were to have you choose one of them, I would recommend the me time because the me time can look like moving your body. It could look like making sure you've got the right food on hand. It can look like you just creating a plan for yourself this week. So if I were to tell you to choose one of the 3 areas, fitness, nutrition, or mindset, focus on the mindset and focus on the me time tip. If you feel like you've already got that down, and you feel like you've got the me time kind of situated and your mindset's doing pretty well, but you're struggling with the nutrition or fitness, then pick one of those. You've got to ask yourself some questions. What is going to make you and your body and your mind feel the best? Maybe you're someone who, if you know you move every day, you eat better and your stress is better. Maybe you're someone who eats better, which then gives them the motivation to move more, which they know makes them feel better. Everybody's got a different level in which inspires them to do the next thing. You have to figure out what yours is. And if you want help, just let me know in the comments, drop me in the comments. I'll reach out and we can talk through it. But just set one of those, make a non-negotiable. Say every day I'm going to do this, whether that is a me time, I'm going to focus on my nutrition, or I'm going to work on fitness. Like pick one of those 3 every single day as your non-negotiable. If you do all 3, awesome. If you don't, that's okay. Just have one of them as your non-negotiable. So what I've done is I've taken all these tips and I've created some cheat sheets for you. So if you would like access to today's tips and lists and all of that, just drop cheat sheets in the comments below and I will send that your way so that you can print this off, post this, have it on your phone, whatever is easiest for you. As we wrap up today, I want to kind of give you some updates as we move into 2025. So 2025, we are going to keep going on with the first Thursday of each month with these live trainings. Remember, they're quick, 15, 20 minutes, something straight into the point join in the comments, ask questions. Maybe you're watching these on YouTube because they do get posted to YouTube. Ask your questions, comment in the comments when I ask you to. That's a way to interact with one another. The other thing that is going to change though is currently we have a podcast the second, third, and fourth Thursday of each month. We are moving to weekly podcasts next month. So what that means is the first Thursday you get a new podcast and you get a free training. The second Thursday, third Thursday, and fourth Thursday, you just get a podcast. So you're going to get a lot more content from us next year. With that being said, if you have certain people that you really enjoy listening to that you would like me to try to get on the podcast and talk about all things women's health, let me know who they are and I will reach out and I'll try to make that happen. If you have certain topics, so for instance, this upcoming year, we've already got a sleep expert coming on. She actually just posted in our community earlier today about some sleep tips. Her name's Kelly. Highly recommend go checking that post out if you haven't already. Ask her any questions. We've got a registered dietitian coming on to talk about pre and postnatal nutrition and kind of how our body changes and how to navigate that. We have a hormone doctor coming on to talk about women's hormones, kind of a general overview, but we're going to have multiple episodes on that. Later this month, we've got someone coming on to talk about the gray area of drinking / sober curious / just how to celebrate throughout the holiday season without always feeling like we need a cocktail in our hand. If we're somebody who is trying to limit that, who's trying to be more aware, who's maybe just noticing, it's getting to be a little bit more than I want it to be, but I don't know where to start and I don't feel like I have a problem. This episode, I believe it's next week. Don't quote me, but I believe it's next week's episode. Make sure to tune into that one. She's got some really awesome tips in there. Her name's Susan. Susan, if you're listening, that's coming up here soon. So lots more content coming out next year. If you have questions, comments, things you want to hear about, please send them my way. And hey, Tracy, I see you on there. I will get you those cheat sheets. I'll send those your way here shortly once we jump off. And yes, so with that, if you have any questions at all, please send them my way. I'm here to support all season long, not just now, not just in the free training, literally all season long. So I will see you all next time. Have a great day.